Alright, welcome back to another part of Witch on the Holy Night. Now, who's gonna retell the story of the previous night?
実は昨日こんなことがあって。
Our boy Soujuurou. He spoke solemnly, and as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before.
Shizuki-kun, いる?
It was time to tell, and lunchtime was quickly coming to an end. Fine, keyboard it is. Her face popped into Class C, as lively as ever. As if it were an everyday occurrence. Aoko Aozaki announced her presence. How very kind of her. Well, Aoko wasn't part of Class C. She didn't let it bother her as she casually entered the classroom. What was that an sound effect for a second there? In contrast, the baby birds who had been so noisily chirping while eating lunch quickly quieted and began to rearrange their seats.
どういう意味よ、それ?
Yes! That Aoko Aozaki is here, especially those arrows. I know those are stuffed things that I actually forgot the name of. She bristled internally before looking around the room. She could not see the male student she had come here to find. He hardly stood out, so she thought he might be hidden in a corner somewhere, but that appeared not to be the case.
有里くん、出席番号12番のしずきくんは?
Aoko kept her tone professional.
俺? しずきならさっき飛び丸殿下が連れて行ったよ。
The boy was shocked that she actually knew his name. I'm more surprised that he knows the specific seat. One might think that the reason students referred to Tobemaru Tsukichi by a royal title was because he was the chairman's son. But it was because he actually acted like royalty. In fact, the vice president was said to have taken a liking to the title.
飛び丸が? あいつしずきくんと仲いいの?
She seemed surprised. The class seemed surprised at her surprise.
いいも悪いも、築地くんが男子と仲良く話してるのって今まで見たことなかったよ、私たち。あ、木の実くんはバカだから別だけど。
そうだよな。初めは殿下もあんまり話してなかったけど、3日もしたら楽しそうに口喧嘩してたもんな。ま、しずき相手に突っ張っても仕方ないじゃん。あいつ変だけどいいやつだし。
そうよね。いい人だもんね、宗十郎くん。
Having recomposed themselves, Class C started chatting again. Aoko listened for a bit before turning around and leaving the class with a later. Now the social talk finished as quickly as it had started. Lunchtime was coming to a close at the student council room. Just for a little bit, I'm gonna distract you with chill cats playing around a little bit. Just another small thing. We do let them out to be together just for a little bit, but not too much because the smaller one wants to fight, while the bigger one is peaceful. So, yeah. Tobemaru, anyways, still sitting across from him, was frowning.
さあ、感想を聞かせてくれ。
Soujuurou told us yarn as best as he could. What is a yarn? Yarn, spun the longer rambling story, especially one that is implausible. Okay. The Tobemaru fingered his brow as if he was angry or concerned.
なあ、宗の字。お前、人をバカにできるほど器用なやつじゃねえよな。
失礼な。器用な方だぞ俺は。
This response only confirmed Tabemaru's suspicions. He's stupid. There had to be one of two possible conclusions. That what Soujuurou had just told him was true, or that Soujuurou was so tired that he must have been hallucinating at the time. Tabemaru sincerely hoped it was the latter.
宗十郎、率直に言って俺はお前が気に入っている。嘘のない人間なんてのは人間じゃねえ。俺は人間嫌いだからそんなお前さんが気に入ってたりするんだが、そんなやつまで馬鹿げたことを言い出したら俺は明日から何を頼りに昼飯を食えばいいんだ。
Was that Alice text maybe?
学食で食べればいいんじゃないか。
Hearing the suggestion, Tabemaru's face darkened.
わかった。はっきり言おう。それは幻覚だ。幽霊の正体見たり枯れ尾花ってやつだろうさ。それでも納得いかないってんならいい精神科を紹介してやる。
Thanks, that would help a lot. Your case stuff is shit.
それが君の感想か。よし、ならいいんだ。
Good to know. I won't trust you with my stories ever again. In fact, I'm gonna cut you out of my life, you stupid little bitch. As better as the man's words might have sent the most, so you just swallow them whole?
そりゃ俺だって神隠しの類だと思ったよ。けど都会じゃもしかしてそれもありなのかもしれないだろ。確かめたかったのはそこなんだ。
Satisfied, Soujuurou finished off his last rice ball and neatly pulled out the cloth.
おい、すると何か？お前は都会の人間は口から火を吹いたり腕が伸びたりするのが普通だと思ったのか？
まあ普通じゃないけど特別でもないんじゃないかと思ったんだ。ここは山にないものが溢れている何でもありの場所だ。だからそれぐらいやってのける人だってもしかしているのかなと。
That his face was so serious as it was, made Tabemaru realized just how big a culture shock Soujuurou must have been experiencing. Living up in the mountains with no electricity, a place where the night sky was as it always had been, and the humans were just one more organism in nature's garden. It makes sense that those conditions would create a boy like him. The idea of children growing up so pure was an appealing one, but maybe it was natural to forego its civilization when your population was so small. Forgive me, I woke up. Perhaps, or perhaps it was so simple a world that excessive knowledge was deemed irrelevant. It was precisely because the city life offered him so much that it was impossible up until now that he had to come to the conclusion that anything was possible here.
安心しろ。確かにこっちにはタチの悪い奴らばっかりだけどな。そんな魔法使いみたいな奴はいねえよ。
そうだといいんだけど。
But Soujuurou seemed unsure. And on Tabemaru's part, there were things to Soujuurou's story that he found hard to swallow. Whether true or not, the incident Soujuurou had described was disturbing.
まあ、事の真偽というか、どんな間違いでそう見えたかは置いておいてだ。結果だけ見れば、うちの生徒が夜の公園で人を殺したってことになる。しかも双方控えめに表現しても普通じゃねえ。
As a newcomer to town, Soujuurou assumed that everyone his age was a student at his school. For better or worse, he was right.
一人は火炎放射器を持って、もう一人は、まあなんだ、なぎなたでも持ち出したのか、刃物らしきものが何メートルも伸びたときた。
Soujuurou bobbed his head up and down as he listened to the disbelief in Tabemaru's voice. Hearing it repeated by someone else, he could see how someone might think he was taking them for a ride.
正気を疑うな。尋常じゃないぞその話。
宗十郎、お前、実は俺をからかってんだろ。
いや、全く。けどまあ、都会にはそんな人間はいないんだろ。なら飛び丸の言う通り、夢でも見てたんだ。ここのところアルバイトと試験が重なって辛くて。
Winter break was just around the corner and the end of term exams were but a week away. Both were proving formidable opponents for Soujuurou.
俺は基本ができてないから、人の倍程度の勉強じゃ追いつけない。ほら、勉強ばかりしているとノイローゼをするんだろ。
そりゃするんじゃなくてなるものだが、まあ何にせよやりすぎ飲みすぎはよくねえわな。試験前ぐらいはバイト減らしたらどうだ？
減らしてはいるんだけどね。年末ってアルバイトを休む人も多くて、その代行も頼まれがちだし。
He shrugged helplessly. It was obvious from his words that he had been busy. Even if he was not going crazy, lack of sleep could have caused him to daydream. Even if this all did go down in the middle of the night.
なんだか大変そうだな、宗十郎。
ああ、実はかなり参ってる。都会の暮らしは深刻だ。
Soujuurou nodded with a pained look on his face. What was strange, however, was that he did not look the least bit tired.
泣き言言わねえのは感心するけどな。お前、新郎は顔に出ないたちか？
Well, the blurriness is bothering me a little bit, but...
ん？そりゃ、新郎はどこも痛まないからね。
As he answered, Soujuurou looked up at the clock on the wall. Lunchtime was almost over.
飛び丸、時間だ。
ああ、もうそんなに経ったか。気にせず先に行ってていいぜ。俺はまだ用があるからよ。
Soujuurou watched as Tobimaro made a gesture that seemed to lament the life of a student council member. His eyes as if they were looking at a piece of art and not understanding its value.
授業をサボれる身分っていうのは羨ましいな。そういうの、飛び丸が嫌いな手抜きじゃないのか？
そりゃ誤解も甚だしい。俺の欠席は手抜きじゃねえ。特権ってやつだと言ったろ。
The vice president angrily defended himself as he stood up. The dance student merely gazed at him unfazed.
おいおい、あれだけ説明したのに全然分かってなかったのか？しょうがねえ。まず座れ。いいか、その字。常人を上回る英気と幸運を兼ね備えながら、座することなく精進してきた俺でも、ここを卒業しちまえば裸一貫になっちまうんだぞ。ひでえ話だ。てめえの家柄を活用できんのはあと1年ちょいだけなんだぜ。これの一体どこが羨ましいってんだ。普通一生続くはずの親の七光ってやつが、俺の場合はたった3年間しかねえんだからな。となりゃ有効なうちに使っておかなきゃもったいなくておちおち眠ってもいられねえ。ああ、嫌だ嫌だ。何が嫌かって、バカどもとガン首並べて金勘定するのが嫌だ。たく、嫉妬渦巻く大人の世界じゃ、俺のオブラートみたいな心なんてパックリ飲まれて溶けちまうこと受け合いだろうさ。
Well, he must have been joking. Soujuurou took his tone to be completely sincere. He listened to envy Tobimaru's ability to be so open about his feelings. From his frame of reference, there was nothing he could do but take Tobimaru for his word. When?
あら、そんな権利なんて留年すればいくらでも引き延ばせるのに。なんなら協力してあげましょうか？この私でよろしければ。
The door to the student council room flew open, washing away Soujurou's half-hearted responses to his friend. His frosted statement destroyed the warm atmosphere of the room. And it also marked the abrupt end to Dabemaru Tsukichi's reign there.
いや、いい。自分の夢は自分の力だけで叶えようと常々思ってるんだ。
そなら今みたいな恥ずかしいこと力説しないでね。廊下にまで聞こえてたわよ、副会長さん。
Not missing a beat, Aoko Aozaki stepped inside the room. Her dark hair was slightly disheveled, as if she had been running. Her gaze missed the sitting Soujuurou entirely and was focused completely on the erratic vice president.
頑張れ、飛び丸。
Soujuurou quietly got up to head back to his classroom.
割と薄情なんだな、お前って。
The Dabemaru grumbled in front of Aoko.
だって時間がない。
だから、そういうのが薄情とだな。
He cut himself off. Aoko briefly shifted her gaze to Soujuurou.
時間がないのは私も同じよ。あなたにはいつも振り回される。
Not a complaint. It was her honest opinion.
なんだ、要件は総十郎かよ。
安心なさい。あなたにもあるから。
Her eyes shimmered with a murderous glee. It was slightly different from the more sullen gaze to which Dabemaru had grown accustomed. For whatever reason, Aoko's mood seemed worse than usual.
しずきくん、あなた、走るのと泳ぐの、どっちが好き？
Aoko asked abruptly. Well, I prefer to live, honestly, but thanks for asking. Oh, wait, there's no third option. A little bit of both. Soujuurou frowned a little before saying he was fine with either one.
ダメよ、一つにして。
泳ぐ方かな。けど、どうして？
あなたがまだどこの部にも所属してないから。
Second reply. One that left no room for Soujuurou to object.
うちの校則読んだわよね。生徒はただ一人の例外もなく、部活動に参加しなくてはならない。正直どうかと思う校則だけど、決まりは決まりだから。
そんな無茶な。悪いけど、そこまでの暇はないんだ。
でしょうね。
An equally terse response. She was typically to the point, but Dabemaru got the impression that she was expressly trying to keep her interaction with Soujuurou short. They stared at each other in silence. Dabemaru stood breathlessly silent in the silence until Soujuurou broke the impasse.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。あ、いや違う。きっと分かっているんだな。
With the way she's been saying stuff, yeah.
うん。だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
Soujuurou stood up from his seat. He walked past Aoko and into the hallway.
それ、明日からでいいんだろ？
しずきくんがいいならね。
He did his best to force a smile before leaving the student council room. While watching the events play out, Dabemaru found himself deeply impressed with Soujuurou. He could tell from Aoko's behavior that she was trying to get the rice out of Soujuurou. Soujuurou, on the other hand, was none the wiser to what Aoko was doing, so he simply went about his way. To Dabemaru, it was hard to believe that Soujuurou had not taken offense. All he observed was the performance of a lifetime in Soujuurou as he maintained a poker face.
いや、でも何が強いんだろうな、会長。
He looked at Aoko curiously. Aoko stood completely still, staring at the wall.
青崎？
Aoko showed no response.
おい、会長！青崎！ 青子女子。おい、聞いてんのかよ、青崎青子。
さいはね、青を呼ぶな。
Your fury echoed through across the student council room. It was beautiful sound that could be heard in the hallway and made the Bemaru threat from earlier pale in comparison.
やかましい。うるせえのはてめえも同じだ。
Perhaps the shouting was still ringing in his ears, or he was just the type to answer a shout with a shout, but he shot back reflexively. You're being kinda cheeky at the moment. It's gonna distract, it could be, not gonna lie. Not enough to stop me from recording though.
そんなんだから男の一人もできねえんだよ、お前は。ほら、目覚めたか？
別にあなたの声は聞こえてた。煩わしかったから無視してただけよ。黙らせるの面倒だし。
てめえな、俺はカカなんかか、おい。
コミュニケーションが成立しない点で言えば、あっちのがまだ上品よね。
Maybe.
ほう、その心は？
お互い何を言ってるかわからない。意味のない会話なら、仰せみたいなものでしょ。
Wow. Wow. Based on that statement, Aoko must have been under the assumption that dating is the act of two lovers whispering nonsense to each other.
問題は、
Kinda?
お前にとって意味のある会話ってのがどの程度の価値かってことだが、まあいいか。いつになくきついじゃねえか、青崎。
ちょっとね。今愛嬌振りまける状況じゃないのよ。
不思議だ。この2年間で青崎の愛嬌なんてものは見たことがないんだが。
飛び丸のいない時に振りまいてたの。
そうかよ。やっぱりあの時のこと恨んでるんだろ、生徒会長さんはよ。
There was only one thing that the Bemaru could be talking about. The incident that occurred in the student council room this past summer.
え？ずいぶんと昔の話じゃないそれ。そんなどうでもいいことに容量を使っちゃもったいないわよ。ただでさえ脳の覚醒部分が少ないのに。
Come on, don't shut him down as it already is. As the conversation wore on, Aoko's murderous aura began to fade, and her sharp gaze gave way to a calmer demeanor rarely seen from her. It was quite possible that nobody besides Tobemaru had ever seen the side of her at school before.
ご忠告どうも。俺だってあんなことは忘れてよ。ただ、さっきその字がバカなこと言いやがるから、つい思い出しちまったんだよ。くそ、考えてみりゃ場所まで一緒じゃねえか。
Well, he probably didn't hear almost stifle into a huge laughter thanks to Soujuurou. Despite his ranting, his face betrayed a touch of nostalgia. Aoko, on the other hand, was scowling.
ちょっと待って。あの話、彼にしたの？
おう、俺がてめえに、なんで会長になんか立候補したのよ。あんたは副会長って顔でしょ、どう見ても。なんて挑発されて、生涯最高の月をしたところまでな。
Aoko let out a sigh, as if relieved that Tobemaru had not told Soujuurou the rest of the story. Oops. Even she wasn't sure why.
あれは確かにびっくりするぐらいいい月だった。思わず体が反応しちゃったものね。ところで、私そんなこと言ったっけ？
言った。しかも俺が保健室に運ばれたのをこれ幸いと強引に副会長にしやがった。
Wow. Since that day, Tobemaru had served as the vice president to the person who usurped the role from him.
いいけどな。俺に会長職は合わねえって分かったし、 副会長の方が性に合ってやがる。会長なんてやってたら危うく親父みたいな野郎になってただろうしよ。
プライド高い分できることは全部やるからね、飛び丸は。会長職に先進するあまり気がついたら優等生になってたあんたも見たかったけど。
やめてくれ、ゾッとしねえ。猫かぶるのはお前だけで十分だ。
The Pimata shooed Aoko away like an annoying pest. It was a typical example of the crude verbal abuse they exchanged on a daily basis, with a witness that only true long-time foes could manage.
で、なんでそんな話したのよ。
は？
半年前のここの事件をなんで彼に話したのよ。
ああ、そっちか。いや、あいつがバカなこと口走ったからなんだが。
He stopped himself before he said any more. He knew better than to let slip the fact that Soujuurou had a thing for Aoko. Everyone knew guys didn't sell each other out like that, even if it was all in truth a misunderstanding.
それよりさっきのはないんじゃねえのか、青崎。お前、宗十郎に恨みでもあんの
？7日以上前の恨みを引きずるほど私はお姫様じゃないつもりだけど。
He wanted to retort that she was more like a queen than a princess. But he do come to know her too well over the past 2 years to dig himself into a hole like that.
恨みはないね。それにしちゃ恋に喧嘩売ってただろ。なんでだ？
Cause why not? You left her hanging. He let us sleep behind her box. He always actually, he's been doing that a lot since we've been introducing them to each other.
確かに調子の狂うやつだが、あいつほどいいやつはいねえだろうに。おい待て、なんだその足元のシロアリを見るかのような態度は。
別にあんたまでそのセリフを言うのかって心底から見避け果てただけよ。
Which one?
まあいっか。いいやつ、いい人、結構じゃない？喧嘩を売る相手としちゃ上等だわ。誰も憎んであげないなら私ぐらいそうしないとね。
Dang. She said casually, having regained her composure to be a bully.
しないとねって、お前。
The Bimata could not follow her reasoning at all. The Bimata was used to Aoko's erratic train of thought, but in the Soujuurou for no reason seemed needlessly cruel. His friend's naive and innocent face came to mind, and then he blurted.
けど、宗十郎は青崎が好きなんだぜ。それでも嫌いなのか？
His vow of silence had lasted not even 2 minutes. Wow.
いや、今のはな、青崎。
He tried to take it back, but it was too late. She had heard his words loud and clear. All he could hope for now was that she would take it well.
そりゃそうでしょ。好き嫌いは誰にもあるし。けどこればかりはね、彼が私と仲良くしたいって言っても私は嫌いなんだから仕方ない。
Soon called Aoko, but that doesn't mean she's not spitting facts. The Bimata found himself filled with indignation at how detached Aoko was being.
いや、そんなお友達感覚の話じゃなくてだな。
Why are you being persistent?
そういう好き嫌いじゃなくて、その字は本気でお前に惚れてるって言ったんだよ。
He shouted, his face a embodiment of sincerity. Aoko gave him a blank stare. It was the face of someone who had had lost their wallet hours earlier and was only just realizing it now. The first instance of doubt that ushers in the reality of the situation. But an instant as all it was.
で、
She answered coolly, as if she had no idea what it should matter to her at all.
出ときたか。鬼でもなけりゃ悪魔だな。お前って女は。よかろう。聞こえなかったのならもう一度言ってやる。
The Bamara gave up any pretense of masculine solidarity and fired back hard.
いいわよそんなの。つまらないもの。
She ruthlessly cut him off. Thinking of the boys who still harbored unrequited love for Aoka, the Bimara tried hard to come up with a name befitting the demoness in front of him.
なるほどね。それでさっきの話に結びつくわけだ。へえ、柄にもなく友達思いじゃない殿下。ってことは、聞くも無残、語るも無情っていう私の噂話、教えてあげたんでしょ？
She laughed as a fiendish smile adorned her face. The Bimara repented to God, wherever and wherever he or she might be, for ever bringing up Aoka's love life.
飛び丸にしちゃ正しい判断ね。褒めてあげるから、どんな話をしたのか聞きたいな、私。
She was smiling, but the Bimara wished to at least try to hide the bloodlust.
代表作とここでの事件を2つばかり。
Aoka nodded with satisfaction as she listened to the Bimara's hesitant answer.
こういう時、噂話って便利よね。うるさいのを追っ払ってくれるから。でも、そんな話を考えなしで広めたら大変だから、これからは気をつけてね。
Had this been in writing, the chillingly sweet tone of her words could have been signed with a heart. Whether angry or happy, Aozaki spoke in a disturbingly cute manner when she was in a heightened emotional state. The Bimara took note of this new discovery, and it did nothing to get them out of the situation.
ああ、俺も命は惜しいからな。口はもう滑らねえよ。けどよ、青崎。本気で宗十郎が嫌いなのか？
He knew that it was a topic he would be better off avoiding, but he tried asking it anyway. The bonds between men at times shine more beautifully than apparel.
まあ、好きじゃないから嫌いっていうわけじゃないけど、私が彼のことを嫌う理由は自分でもわからない。だからダメなのね、きっと。
Perhaps to placate the Bimaro, Aoka paused in a contemplation before she answered. Giving it a moment without immediately blurting out a response meant that not even he could complain.
そうか。ま、そういうことならしょうがねえか。何しろ、綺麗さっぱり感情論だ。お互い理由もなく好きと嫌いじゃ、手を貸す隙間もねえわけだし。
Thinking that would be the end of it, the Bimara looked up towards the ceiling and silently apologized to Soujuurou. However, his final sentence appeared to have piqued Aoka's interest.
待って。今の、どういう意味？
Her fox chair had vanished. Failing to pick up on this, the Bimara answered nonchalantly.
いや、あいつもさ、青崎に惚れた理由がわからないなんて言いやがってよ。ああ、違ったか。理由なんてないなんて意味だったかな。
The Bimara was still in disbelief that Soujuurou had been charmed by Aoka's appearance, so he purposely left that part out.
理由はない。です
No,
っ
a
て。
dragon.
ああ、なんで。俺がいくらお前の噂話をしても無駄だった。天津さえなんて言ってたかな。そうそう。理由はどうあれ、青崎の心配は本物なんだとか、 自分はそれで助かってるとか、俺なんかには言えないセリフだったのは確かだね。どうにもはっきりしてんのは他の野郎どもと違って、噂を聞いても手を引く素振りなんざみじんもなかったってことだけ。
The Bimaro finally noticed a shift in Aoko's demeanor. She was scowling at the wall. She glared at it in silence like it was her worst enemy. And this continued for several minutes.
何それ。さっきといいそれといい、どこかで聞いたようなことばっかり。
Ah, so that's the person who was really causing all these problems. Who's been spending all that money that we should be saving. It was me! So great was her ire that the gnashing of her teeth was audible. The irritation seeded until it reached a point that Aoko forgot that Bimaro was even in the room. The Bimaro looked heaven a word for forgiveness, insisting that he too brought further calamity down upon Soujurou's head.
少しわかったわ。なんであいつが気に食わないのか。
The Bimaro looked away as if to indicate that he too would rather not know, but Aoko ignored him and began to grumble venomously.
あいつ、私が嫌いなやつと言動が似てるのよ。誰彼構わずいい人扱いされるところとか、妙にふわふわしてるところとか、いちいち私の勘に触るところとか。
Glancing idly up at the clock, the Bimaro thought that the last part just sounded like misplaced anger. And that was that. 1 o'clock had come and gone.
わかった。もういい。この話をした俺が悪かった。で、俺に用ってのはなんだよ。言っとくけど、もう授業始まってるぜ。
え？授業ってなんで？いつ？
いや、さっきその字が出てってから、青崎がギラーンって壁に睨んでた時にチャイムが鳴ったんだよ。いいのか、生徒会長。5次元目ばっくれて。
いいわけないでしょ。なんで黙ってんのよ、あんたは。
She looked like she was on the verge of tears as she shouted and pulled at his necktie. The Bimaro raised his hands in mock surrender, a gesture reserved only for the true victor.
蚊の方がエレガントなんて言いやがった仕返しだ。思い知るがいい。男の純情を踏みにじったり焼き殺したりするエリート悪魔め。
相変わらず細かく根に持つ男。言動には言動で返しなさいよね、卑怯者。
She tied his necktie around his neck with a yank. The wife hesitant smiled at a beggar's grin, as if her reaction made his victory that much sweeter.
お前の古典が破滅に向かっているのは周知の事実。そして A 組の5次元目は言うまでもない。藤代のばあさん。青崎のこと嫌ってるしな。
Angry potato head. Vegeta had one of the longest tenures at the school, so it was only natural she would be in charge of teaching the classics.
さあ、こんなところで俺のネクタイを引っ張る余裕があるのなら、急いで自分の教室に立ち返るがいい。情けだ。別に止めはしねえよ。
くそ、あんたなんかにはめられるなんて。このまま死んでしまえ。
She choked him even harder with his necktie. As Aoko put words into action and mercilessly strangled the Bimaro, he saw his life flash before his eyes.
いや、待て待て、本当に死んじまうだろうが。今ならまだ間に合う。10分過ぎたら遅刻から欠席扱いだぞ。
Aoko glanced up at the clock. It was still only 7 past 1. Her route was from the student classroom on the 2nd floor to the Class A classroom on the 3rd floor. If she ran, she could make it.
命拾ったわね、飛び丸。
Aoko clicked her tongue disappointedly. What disturbed the Bimaro was that it didn't sound like an empty threat.
あと放課後ここにいて。頼みたいことがあるのは本当なんだから。
She was halfway out of the room before she even finished her sentence. Finally, all alone, Tobimaro closed the open door, locked it, and slumped into a chair.
たく。ああしてる分には楽しいやつなんだけどよ、青崎は。
He leaned back in the creaky folding chair and let out a sigh. Nor without Soujuurou, honestly. The weather outside was beautiful. But the sunlight waned early in the winter. Before long, daylight would fade and the unheated student council room would grow colder and colder. All of the good equipment, like the heater, had ended up in the main office, so he had no choice but to settle in for a chilly afternoon.
こんな天気が続けばいいんだがね。天気予報じゃまた雲行き怪しいって話だが。
After his somewhat suggestive monologue, Tobimara's mind drifted. He idly wondered to himself whether Soujuurou was an overcast day or a clear day sort of guy, but no answers came. Of course not, he's in the classroom. The school day over, Soujuurou headed straight to his job. While the school had approved his jobs at the Chinese restaurant and fish market in Misaki's shopping district, it was their work he hadn't mentioned to them. And it was not because he knew that he would complain at them working too many, but rather because of the illicit nature of one job in particular. Today, his workplace was a pachinko parlor who brought up Yoshiroki Station. Soujuurou changed out of the school uniform and into a black fox tuxedo uniform, then began cleaning the storefront. Yoshiroki was the jewel of the Misaki City, a busy place with a vast assortment of commercial centers and shopping arcades. When there were people on Masai, there were products made in Masai. Automatic might describe it as a place of joy. A realist would note a free enterprise. And a cynic would point at all the garbage. Local authorities had attempted to beautify Yoshiroki, but there was one basic tenet of society they could not overcome. This establishment was the embodiment of this rule. Businesses such as this attracted the dregs of society, and as such, the front of the parlor had to be cleaned several times a day. Soujuurou stood outside in the winter cold, sweeping at used-up cigarette butts, picking up discarded flyers, and tossing empty cans into the trash. Something about it must have reminded them of modern life, because he cheerfully finished the job with ease. After making sure that the storefront was acceptably clean, he returned to the inside of the parlor where it was nice and warm. Ooh, I think we're gonna meet another person who's gonna burn them up with thing. Blinding lights, deafening sounds. Could that person be Alice by any chance? The impressive other of the Baka shouted him as he passed through the parlor on his way to the office.
店長、外回りの掃除終わりました。
はい、ご苦労様。それでいいかな。2階の40番台のお客さんの様子見てきてくれない？どうも懐に飲んでそうなんだよね、あのお姉さん。
His boss was a good-natured man who used to work a desk job. The reason he employed someone like Soujuurou, even though he was clearly a student, was not because he admired him from working his way through school. It was because all of the other employees were scary and intimidating, and he wanted at least one employee who was not.
いいんですか？トイレの掃除まだですけど。
いいのいいの。なんかね、カメラの死角にいるんでいまいち確証取れないの。そうちゃん、今のところ的中率 100% でしょ。 様子見てきてくれないかな。
Hearing that, Soujuurou put away his cleaning equipment and headed upstairs. It was a typically large-scale pachinko parlor with 2 floors. It prided itself on being a local establishment that was satisfied with talking to the locals' money, little by little, without resorting to more exploitative means. But regardless of the parlor's intentions, its customers were not so scrupulous. Among them are casual players, professional gamblers, and cheaters looking to profit by exploiting whatever loopholes they could find. Of particular prevalence was a device developed in the mid-80s that could disrupt the machine's circuitry from the outside and make it much easier to get what was called a 777 jackpot. As much as the parlor wanted to deny these cheaters entry, it needed to present hard evidence of cheating or risk losing customers. Particularly in the service industry, innocent until proven guilty was not a rule taken lightly. As a result, you could only punish the customers you caught in the act. Such cheaters were known as Katoshi, a size of society which Soujuurou knew nothing about. What he did know was that they were inconveniencing his employer and violating their rules. He went upstairs. The radio and game machine sounds on the 2nd floor were quieter than the cacophony downstairs. There were 100 game machines on the ground floor and over 80 on the 2nd. While there were some empty seats here and there, it was a solid evening turnout. The machine mentioned by his boss was in the center aisle. Soujuurou nonchalantly leaned back against the wall and watched the customer hit the jackpot over and over again. That's a little bit of booty there. And a lot of, geez, let's not get horny, come on. The second he saw her, his gut told him that she was not cheating. Yeah, he still was not sure what made someone a master swindler. But if it meant they were special, this woman certainly fitted that description. It was almost as if he could feel the luck emanating from her. Who could that be? As the customers looked on, she suddenly turned the handle again and again. Incidentally, we met back at the church. Which also the archive kind of indicates that she could maybe be the master of the thing that Alice destroyed, or the 2 things that Alice destroyed. She appeared older than Soujuurou. She wore a green form-fitting one-piece dress. A pair of stockings covered her legs. Her sandal legs were gracefully crossed, and her elegance suited a painting better than a casino. Her dark reddish hair was cut short and above, perfectly framing her stylish spectacles and crimson lips. Truth be told, something was off about this picture square beauty ringing the jackpot over and over again. 4 boxes worth of pachinko balls set in her feet, and her winning streak showed no sign of abating. She looked bored as her slender porcelain fingers lifted a long cigarette to her lips.
なんかどっかで
Just as the thought crossed his mind, her gaze turned up towards the wall, and Soujuurou. Wait, keep your heart beating. I gotta check. Well, it does look like her. It could. I think I know who could that be. Suddenly a chill ran down her spine, but I'm not gonna say anything. He reflexively covered his mouth to keep from shrieking.
あの人昨日の
Acting up pure instinct, Soujuurou took off running. I didn't expect for a little bit more of her to be shown, honestly. But again, I think I know who she might be. He headed straight downstairs, desperate not to be on the same floor as her. He would have run straight out of the door, but it were his obligations to his job.
店長、早退します。それと、2階の人は問題ないです。
He tried to keep his composure as he spoke, jamming his school uniform into a paper bag as he ran out of the parlor. Cloudy weather brought the shadow of night over Yashirogi as he ran through the shopping arcade towards the station. He shot up the long staircase like an arrow, quickly pulled his green pass from his wallet, and pressed through the ticket gate. The ticket gate was crowded with people standing around, walking and talking. By the way, I really played this visual novel up to the 7th chapter. That was the max that it was translated on the PC version. But there was a movie that showed a person that looked familiar, and it could really be her. I wish I could remember, for the life of me, what was the movie. But I know that she was the principal instead of what I said originally. The station attendant by the automatic ticket machine had an unpleasant look on his face. There was now familiar, comforting hustle and bustle around him. Just another day in the city. Nothing like what he witnessed the night before. He could finally breathe again. The momentary rush of relief brought him to an abrupt stop. He nervously turned around. There was no way the dangerous individual could be behind him.
って考えてみると
Yeah. He couldn't think of a good reason for why he fled so desperately. As far as he could remember, he hadn't even seen the threat's face long enough to form an opinion about her. Soujuurou gave himself a good slap on the cheek to pull himself together and quickly made his way down to the platform. Unfortunately, the next train was 10 minutes away. Panicking would do him no favors, so he quietly found an empty seat and sat down. He took another deep breath. He was surrounded by people waiting for the train just like he was. And no sign of anyone pursuing him. His head finally cleared up, and he reassured himself that he was overthinking things. Though he was surprised at how heavy his shoulders felt.
疲れてるのは分かってる。自分の体のことだし。
Soujuurou cited this greater than expected fatigue. He had generally struggled since coming down from the mountains, but in retrospect, it could have been worse. Physically, he was probably holding up fine. He was much less confident in his mental state. The city and the mountains could not have been more different. He had been slow to recognize the differences and adapt. Acclimation was simple enough. Humans were nothing if not adaptable. Even without any effort, one would learn to adjust over time. Recognizing the challenges had been the hard part.
そりゃあとにかく難しいことだらけだし。
Soujuurou grumbled the complaints he never uttered before. To be honest, he was still afraid to wander around town. There were so many things city people took for granted that Soujuurou had yet to grasp. It was a wonder that this was never-ending chain of surprises would wear on him.
そっか。疲れてるのは体じゃないのか。だからあんな幻を見る。
He muttered to himself, then shook his head. That which exists, exists. Such was the way of all things. The Bimaro had called it a hallucination, but Soujuurou knew what he saw was real. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. If there were real magicians secretly living here, that should have been no surprise at all. The thought alone made his legs tremble. It took him a moment longer to realize that they were quivering out of fear. He had feared a natural ever since he encountered a wild bear on a mountain path as a child.
いや、あれはこんなもんじゃなかったっけ。 なりふり構わず泣き叫んだもんな、あの時は。
Soujuurou smiled a little as he recalled his traumatic childhood memory. Anyone would have fainted at the sudden appearance of a growling beast that towered over 6 feet tall. The monster in the movie that Soujuurou saw not 2 days ago was the equivalent of a cuddly stuffed animal when compared to the wild mountain creatures. He was reminded that the two faced far wars before, and his ordeal now was something he could endure.
そうだよな。今の問題はちらっと聞こえた最後のセリフか。捕まえて始末するっていうのはどうなんだ。
Oh. At face value, the meaning was obvious, but the implications were simply too frightening to contemplate seriously. Perhaps he had misheard the words, or perhaps the speaker had misspoke.
都会のルール。誰かがきっと罰しに来るか。
Even as he said it, the idea didn't feel quite real. It was hard to imagine that it applied to him. Soujuurou breathed in and closed his eyes. His vision dimmed, putting the illuminated cityscape out of sight and out of mind. For now, he resolved to put last night's events behind him. When he opened his eyes, his breathing got calmed.
それでさ、
Yeah?
青崎を殴りつけようとして結局どうなったんだ、飛び丸。
She hit back with a kick in the nuts. The question suddenly popped into Soujuurou's head. He decided he would ask next time and stood up from his chair. A long stick of light blazed by, announcing the arrival of the next train. Boy. Oh, nice. And that's that. Yes, please.